Recently, we went on a cruise on the Disney Fantasy, and I wanted to give you a review of 2 of the excursions that we did on Castaway Cay. First of all, you absolutely do not need to do a single thing when you get to Castaway Cay except for relax on the beach. If that is the only excursion that you do, that is plenty. It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I think if you've been there, you would also agree with me. It'd probably be hard pressed to find anyone who did not agree with that. I think it's just a lovely, lovely place. But 2 of the excursions we did on this most recent trip were the water trike and the kayaking. Now, we didn't need to do both. Both of them are the same location. They are right near the ship, so you get the most amazing people-free view of the ship when you either take a water trike or take a kayak out. And you can book, I believe, 30-minute and 60-minute excursions with that. First of all, the view is amazing. That alone is a reason to book this excursion. The kayak was hands down my most favorite experience. It was peaceful. The water is so clear, I could not even believe how clear it is. I don't even think pictures do it justice, but when you are sitting in a kayak and you are just gliding over the water, it's unbelievably clear. It is so beautiful. You can see some sea creatures from your kayak. Believe we saw a stingray, but we only caught just part of it, and it was hard to get our kayak to go over near it when we saw it, and their fish. So it was, I highly recommend the kayak. I will put the price of the kayak below. It was a very reasonable excursion price, absolutely, and it's for 2 people, so you're paying the price of the boat, not the price per person, which is nice. And 100% do the kayak at least once. If that's the only excursion type thing you do at Castaway Cay, do the kayak. Amazing pictures of the boat, beautiful water, very peaceful and calm. The water was so calm and gentle. It was nice. Then we did the water trike after lunch. So we did the kayak before lunch. After lunch, we did the water trike. I can't really recommend the water trike. It was a neat experience. I don't know, maybe I'm just not built for a water trike, and it could have been also that we were trying to go as fast as we could, but the pedals don't really do that. You got to pedal really fast to not go very fast, basically. My legs hurt for about 2 weeks after that. And that is not an exaggeration. My hips hurt. And I had already done the 5K that day, which I know that it wasn't from the 5K because first of all, I've done 5K before and didn't have that problem. And also because immediately after I got off the water trike, I had trouble walking. I don't know, maybe it was just me with that experience, but I cannot recommend the water trike. Because it goes the same location as the kayak was much easier on the body, at least definitely in my opinion. And so I definitely would choose kayak over the water trike. Water trike was neat, but not, I don't think, as fun as the kayak. I'd be interested in knowing if anyone else has done the water trike and either had the same experience as me or had a completely different experience. I'd love for you to let me know what your experience was like with that. But I definitely recommend the kayak. Now, on a previous cruise, we did the Stingray port adventure there at Castaway Cay, and hopefully I'll be able to link in some video of that down here if I can find it, because it's been a few years. But I definitely recommend that as well. It was very nice. They have these platforms that the rays come up on, and then you hold food on your hands and they slurp it up. It was really neat seeing the Stingray up close, as well as the cast members telling you about the Stingrays, about each one, their names, and things like that. And one of the things that I learned during that excursion, because it was probably maybe a month or so before we went there, there had been, or maybe it was a few months, but there had been a hurricane that came through, and I had asked them, well, what happens with the rays? And they do have, like, I guess a barrier where they keep them in during this time, but if there's a storm, they let them out. The rays go out to sea because it's safer for them, and they return. I guess that's where they're getting fed, so they come back. So they must enjoy their life at Castaway Cay because they do return when they're let out to sea, they come back. So I thought that was a really neat piece of information that I learned. But I definitely recommend the ray experience, especially if you've never had an encounter with Stingray before. It's very nice. There are not a lot of people at the platforms. There's a couple different platforms and just a few people standing around, and everyone gets to interact. Everyone gets to feed the ray and also touch the ray. So that is really neat. You don't really get to swim with them really or anything, but you do get to interact, and that was really nice too. I will link down below the prices. They're the current prices of these excursions, so you can see. I don't have them off the top of my head, but they weren't that expensive. They were pretty reasonably priced. If you want a free excursion on Castaway Cay, you can do the 5K. It's just couple loops around, nice, nice views. There's a tower that you can go up and look out of and see across the island. You can see the ship all the way in the distance. So a free excursion is to do the 5K. And if you want to do the 5K but not running the 5K, you can also book a bike and ride a bike pretty much the same exact track as the 5K, and see the island that way as well. So those are all the excursions that I have done on Castaway Cay, and I recommend all of them, except not the trike. But again, that just might be me. That just might be a me thing, not a for everyone thing, but I'm definitely interested in knowing anyone else's experiences with the trike or any of these other excursions on Castaway Cay. If you have any questions, you've never been to Castaway Cay before, or you've been there and you haven't done any of these excursions, and you have a question that I have not answered in this video, please put that question down below. I'll be happy to answer that for you. Also, definitely put your experiences down below. I'd love to see what excursions you've done on Castaway Cay. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you found it helpful or you don't want to miss any other content that I have. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep living the magic. Bye-bye.